Hey guys, and welcome on into another episode of Getting Wild and Flying High, free NHL and MLB picks. I'm Terry, ready to break down today's slate. And before I start the show, I did want to be transparent in the fact that there's not going to be very much NHL coming for me over the next few days. I have one play in the NHL today, and then I'm not betting anything in the NHL tomorrow, and won't have anything on Friday either. So my last NHL play of the regular season on this show, and then the rest of my plays will come playoff time. Yes, there's lots of games tomorrow, but who's playing, who's not, I'm not getting involved in that game. So it is my final regular season NHL play uh, will come up in this show, and then playoffs. We'll be back to covering the NHL again. But we will take a look at what happened yesterday in the NHL. The Devils breaking the Sabres fans' hearts with a 6-2 win, eliminating the Sabres from playoff contention. And now they're kind of stuck in that bubble spot where they're not going to get a good pick, and they're not making the playoffs. Um, but they decided to go all in and try to get there. But I think that was a mistake. And we'll see. Blue Jackets and Flyers. We actually lost a subscriber yesterday. I guess somebody didn't like the fact that I said that that was a 1-800 gambler game. That's my opinion. Um, everyone's everyone caps differently. Everybody is going to find different edges. Just because I don't like a game doesn't mean that you shouldn't like a game. And I didn't mean it literally that you should call 1-800 gambler. I just kind of meant that it's a game that you should probably stay off of, in my opinion. But hey, it'll happen, I guess. But yeah, I stayed off that game, and Flyers with the 4-3 overtime win. So the draw would have cashed, the over would have cashed. And yeah, Red Wings and Hurricanes. I passed that game, and Hurricanes with the 4-1 win, um, fighting for that division title. Maple Leafs and Lightning. The Leafs, despite resting players, got the 4-3 win in regulation. So good for them. Capitals and Bruins. I One of my premium plays up on the site yesterday was the Bruins on the puck line, and it got there 5-2 win. It was just a horrible spot for Washington after that big win against the Islanders, and Boston just continues to win games. The Blackhawks and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wow. I did not see this coming. Not only did Pittsburgh lose, but they lost by 3 goals. Of course, there was an empty netter or two involved in that, but horrible loss for Pittsburgh, and a horrible win for Chicago. Not the time of the season you want to be getting wins here. We'll see if they're still in last. I haven't actually checked to see what place they are, but this win might have hurt their Bedard chances, and I won't be sad if they don't get Bedard. I'd rather they didn't. I hope Columbus gets him, if I'm being all serious. Winnipeg and Minnesota. The Wild did not play well the first 2 periods of the game, kind of like the same thing we saw against Chicago. The Wild came storming back in the third period, and then towards the end of the third period, Matt Boldy was clearly tripped, clear as day. No call by the referees, and of course, seconds later, Winnipeg goes down and scores. So, thank you very much, referees. And then, of course, at the end of the game, there was a lot of fights and dirty plays. The Winnipeg Jets continue to play dirty with a cross check to the ribs of Marcus Johansson, who is most likely out now and is most likely injured, thanks to the Winnipeg Jets. So, another reason that I hate the Jets. And then I will touch quickly on the coaching stuff that happened there. Rick Bowness basically talking a bunch of shit to Wild coach Dean Evison. Dean Evison's like, "Come on over and we'll talk about it." Yeah, Bowness had no interest in going over to see Dean Evison. and I can understand why, because he would have got beat up pretty good. Edmonton and Colorado, my only play in that game was the draw, and it cashed. Overtime, um, uh, overtime winner for Edmonton, and I got the draw. Seattle Vegas, I stayed off. Bad spot for the Kraken. Golden Knights with a 4-1 win, and then the Canucks with a 3-2 win in regulation over the Anaheim Ducks. Taking a look quickly at the current standings here in the Metro, New Jersey, Carolina, both have one game left. Depending on what happens in that game, we'll have our division champion for the Metro. If Carolina loses or Carolina gets a point and New Jersey wins, if they finish tied, New Jersey has the tiebreaker. So New Jersey, if they finish tied, will win the division. And of course, this is important for who's going to face the Rangers and who will win the division and face a wild card team. Atlantic, pretty much the same as it's been for months now. Nothing's really changed here except points totals and goal totals. But standing wise, everything's the same. The wild card spot with Pittsburgh's loss to Chicago, Florida clinched a playoff spot with that loss. So the Panthers are in. The final spot is down to the Islanders and the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Islanders, I believe that they just need a point in this game. I think if they finish tied overtime, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe if the Islanders get 1 point in this game against Montreal, they make the playoffs, and Pittsburgh's long playoff streak comes to an end. And then the rest of the Eastern teams that are all out of playoff contention. In the West, Colorado with 105, Dallas with 104. Both teams with 2 games remaining. The Wild with 102, and they will be in that third spot, and they will face the second place team in the playoffs. In the Pacific, Vegas, Edmonton, and LA. Vegas, Edmonton still fighting for that division title. 1 game left. Vegas against Seattle again. Seattle and Winnipeg, the 2 wildcard teams. Calgary and Nashville are officially out of the playoffs. And then the bottom feeders of the Western Conference. We will quickly bring up the 3 NHL games that we have in the slate. Oops. I'll jump into the comments here. Dun, 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 dun. What's up, Terry? I smash like. Thank you, Richie. You always do. Good morning. Morale is higher today. Thank you to the Chicago Blackhawks. Yeah, Knicks Islanders, who looked quite dead yesterday, are quite alive today. And they're going to have to get the job done against Montreal. And I would say that they should, but because of recent events, you never know. NHL is over. MLB time. Yeah, the NHL was over for the Sabres quite a while ago. Hey, Terry. Hey, Crystal. Happy Wednesday, Kev, to you as well. I called 1-800-GAMBLER. They said Flyers. Oh, did they? Because Flyers -1 was a push, so you did not make any money off that. So it technically wasn't a very good bet. LOL Pens. Dangerous time for upsets. Yes, it is. According to MoneyPuck, the Blackhawks lost 6.5% on the odds to get Bedard after that win. Yes. Dirty hit on Ehlers last night by Hartman. Yes, that was after the fact. After Johansson was hit in the ribcage. So, yes, it was a dirty hit by Hartman, but it was in retaliation for the dirty Winnipeg Jets being dirty, as usual. Both teams were dirty last night. Yes, but who was dirty first? Matters. Blackhawks are the last for the first round. Yes. Vegas on the road might be a champion. They're definitely good on the road. Isles need 1 point. All right, well, go Montreal. But in these 3 games here, if you think I'm laying -350 with the New York Islanders, you are sorely mistaken. I'm not getting involved in that game. Islanders are in a need to win spot, but just because they need to win doesn't mean they will. They may, they very well may. and they should, but it doesn't mean they will. Example, last night against Pittsburgh against Chicago, and then the Islanders' last game against Noah Ovechkin and Washington. Dallas and St. Louis. Here, my final NHL play of the regular season is the Dallas Stars in regulation. I think they get the job done here against the St. Louis Blues, win this game in regulation. I have this feeling it's going to be a 1-goal game, something like 3-2. So staying off the puck line for Dallas, but I think they win in regulation. And that is my final NHL play of the regular season. And San Jose, Calgary. If you think I'm laying minus 233 with Calgary at any time this year, but especially now that they've been eliminated from playoff contention, no thanks. Am I going to take the Sharks? No thanks. Calgary will have prospect Dustin Wolf in net for his NHL debut. A lot of talent, he is a top prospect with a lot of potential, and I'm not going to fade him backing the Sharks, but I'm not going to take the Flames either. So it is a pass. Dun, 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 dun. That Islander is going to be the over. All right. Isles under 6, Stars under 6, Sharks over 6.5. Montreal plus 1.5. The draw plus 425. Sharks money line, and Flames should be the over. Yes, I am not touching any of that, but it's that time of the NHL season where focus to playoffs, and I'm staying off everything. Going to the MLB, in the first game that we have here, Houston-Pittsburgh, I do have Houston money line in a parlay, but that's basically it. I was looking at Kyle Tucker, who's has 310 average this year, 2 for 3 against a Hill, but I didn't get involved, and we'll see what happens in that game. But we will jump into slate, the first game that I have here to talk about, and that's the White Sox and the Minnesota Twins. White Sox plus 126 to plus 138. Minnesota minus 146 to minus 160. 8.5s right across the board. Now, this game is tricky. I doubled up on this game, but I'm definitely not as confident now as I was earlier in this one. Giolito and Sonny Gray, there is definitely a pitching advantage with Sonny Gray. I think we can all agree on that. And looking at it, this White Sox lineup has a pretty good record against Sonny Gray. And then this Twins lineup does not have a very good record against Giolito. So looking at how these pitchers are pitching right now, Minnesota definitely has the advantage. Looking at previous history, Chicago has the advantage. But I think the Twins being at home here, I like them in this spot. So I took them in the first 5, minus 0.5, and the full game, minus 1.5. But I'm not as confident in this as I was looking at the Twins numbers against Giolito. Pirates money line and the over 9.5. No comment. White Sox Minnesota over 8.5. I would honestly lean with the under because Sonny Gray has been stellar, and like I said, Giolito hasn't, but he's done well with the Twins. So I would actually lean with the under. I could see some kind of like 4-2 type of game in this one. But we'll go to the next game. We have the San Diego Padres and the New York Mets. San Diego, minus 105 to plus 101. The Mets, minus 105 to minus 120. 9s and 9.5s in this one. I'm going to the first 5 here, and I took the Mets. Basically, the reason for that is Blake Snell is a fade pitcher at the beginning of the year. He struggles to start his season. Now he's coming in here facing the Mets. The Mets definitely not the best team against lefties, but their lineup does have a pretty good record against Snell. I'm not getting to any props here. I definitely think the pitching advantage is with McGill in this one over Snell. So I'm taking the Mets first 5 money line, and hopefully they can hit the ball for once. That would be nice in this one. I think it's going to be a close game because same division. That's possible. Nick is an idiot money line lock. I'll respectfully say no comment. Mets money line first 5, yes. Dog to a favorite system play. Mets first 5 and money line. Tyler McGill. Best bet for Nick is going to be the New York Mets money line. I would say homer alert, but I can't with what my best bet looks like, so I won't say anything at all in this one. But we will go on to next game. Seattle Mariners and the Chicago Cubs. Seattle -109 to -115. Chicago -105 to +101. 11s and a 10.5 in this one. Chicago at home, and we're seeing these kind of totals. That must mean the wind is blowing out. So we're most likely going to see runs in this game. Gilbert against Stroman. I like Stroman, especially from what I've seen from him this year. And this is another double up spot. I took Cubs first 5 and Cubs full game on the money line. Seattle not playing well right now. And I just think this is a good Cubs spot. The only thing that I don't really like is Dansby Swanson is not in the lineup for the Cubs today, and he has by far been their best hitter. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but I'm going to back Stroman and the Cubs. I think they get the job done. In the end, I think they get the job done in this one. Dog to a favorite system play, Mariners first 5 and money line. Yes, the reason they are from a dog to a favorite, and they're still dogs in some spots, but that's because Swanson's not in the lineup. That's the reason for that. Wave the W flag, go Cubs go. Yes, go Cubs go. Ignore Nick. Moving on to our next game, Washington Nationals and LA Angels. Washington +130 to +150. LA Angels -163 to -175. 9s and 8.5s available here. And when you see that I'm going to be talking about the Washington Nationals, and you see that Mackenzie Gore is on the mound, you're pretty much going to know what I'm going to be doing basically all summer long. If I'm backing the Nationals, it's going to be when Gore's on the mound, and it's going to be the first 5. So that is where I went in this one. First 5 plus a half, anywhere from -115 to -105 to -120. I think that's the spot here. Kenzie Gore is the only pitcher that I like on this Washington Nationals team, and the only pitcher I will back first 5 plus a half in this one. Under 9 and first 5 under 5. All right, sounds good to me. The less runs, the more chance of it being tied. So sounds good to me. Boston and Tampa Bay. Boston Red Sox +105 to +118. Tampa Bay Rays -123 to -138. 8.5s. There is 1/8 available in this one. And the Tampa Bay Rays continue to win games. I had them on the run line yesterday. Pretty much easy money. Now here they are at home once again, facing Chris Sale. And at certain points in his career, that would have sound kind of scary to have to face Chris Sale. However, not if you are this Tampa Bay lineup. Yandy Diaz, 7 for 15 with a 467 average against Sale. Wander Franco is 5 for 7. So 7 at bats, 5 hits, hitting 714. Paredes and Harold Ramirez both 1 for 2. And all 4 of those players are hitting well this year. Ramirez only 250, but the other guys all above 300. Um, Diaz, Franco, and Paredes. I think they are big reasons why this Tampa Bay team continues to win and wins this game against the Red Sox and Chris Sale. Rookie pitcher for Tampa Bay, but um, that's not enough for me to jump off this Tampa Bay team with how they're playing right now. I have to continue backing them. However, they are going to lose their first game, and it's going to be against the Blue Jays. So get ready for that. No, I'm not going to be betting the Blue Jays every game. I'm probably going to be looking towards the over when we have um, Barrios and maybe Kikuchi, but we'll get to that when we get there. But I do think the Toronto Blue Jays will be the team that gives Tampa Bay their first loss. I think they win this game and continue rolling here. Rays first 5 and moneyline keep riding the Rays. Yes, for a couple more days. Rays moneyline and run line. Yes. Sale is trash. No, but he struggles against quite a few of these Rays players. Good day, Terry. Can't fade the Rays. Yeah, neither can I. Franco home run plus 600. I don't know if those 5 for 7 hits. I didn't look if they were home runs or not, but I didn't look or not. And I go back to this for Richie. His best bet is going to be Rizzo / Stanton over half hits, runs, or RBI plus 102. Range for the Yankees. We will go on along to our next game here. Detroit Tigers and Toronto Blue Jays. Detroit plus 220 to plus 246. Toronto minus 273 to minus 300. 8.5s right across the board. This one, Alek Manoah has not got off to the best start this year. Rough outing for him in his in yesterday's game, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter that he couldn't find the strike zone. He was walking everybody, gave up the 3-run homer. Didn't matter because this Blue Jays lineup is hot and is hitting the ball like nobody's business. Toronto money line, a great parlay piece here. Toronto run line, you kind of missed your chance here. You got to bet it the night before because as really when lines open right now, because as you've seen, it was around minus 120, I believe, last night, minus 115. Now we're seeing minus 135, minus 140. So to bet the Jays now, it is a little bit tough, but I will show you how in my best bet coming here shortly. For Toronto, Bo Bichette, 3 for 7, 429 average against Rodriguez. Whit Merrifield, 5 for 12 with a 417 average. Matt Chapman, 4 for 11, 364 average. George Springer, 2 for 6 with a 333 average. And Vladdy is 4 for 13 with a 308 average. So all 5 of those players are hitting over 300 against Rodriguez. And all 4 of those players are hitting the ball right now this year. Vladdy's hitting 400. Chapman is hitting 477. If you're not betting Chapman over 1.5 bases, you're missing out. He continues to smash the ball every single game in this one. Best bet is going to be the Reds. Cincinnati Reds. That's one enough. And I'm totally against you in this one. 125. Totally against you. Totally against you. Tigers first 5 plus a half and first 5 under 4.5. No, absolutely not. You better hope Gosman pitches a shutout because the Jays are going to hit Rodriguez. Chapman home run plus 300. I could see it. And Crystal had Chapman home run and Bichette home run last night. Very nice cashes. 5 Jays hit home runs yesterday. And it was the Jays offense was supposed to be not as good this year, and they weren't really supposed to hit as many home runs. But hey, they're hitting up and down the lineup. So see if that can continue going forward. Reds and Braves here. Reds plus 213 to plus 236. Atlanta Braves minus 263 to minus 300. 7.5s and an 8 here in this one. And as I just said a few seconds ago, I disagree with Tim here quite a bit. I absolutely love Atlanta Braves minus 1.5 here, which you can get minus 119 up to minus 125. I think they take it to the Reds here. Huge pitching advantage with Strider against Hunter Green. Huge lineup advantage for the Braves. The Braves are at home. This is a smash spot. When I see Strider on the mound against a subpar team, and I'm getting the run line at minus 125, minus 120, I'll take it every day of the week. Give me the Braves, the best team in NL East. Braves 0-6 on the run line at home this year. Yeah, well, it's going to be 1-6 after today. Reds first 5 plus 210. No, definitely not. But we will go to the rest of the slate. Houston-Pittsburgh is in play, and briefly discussed it. White Sox in Minnesota, we discussed that too. Same with San Diego and New York Mets. Yankees and Cleveland. Here, Andre Jimenez, 333 average this year, 2 for 3 against Schmidt. And the Yankees better hope that their pitchers get healthy soon because Schmidt has been awful to start the year. And he has a 9.45 ERA, but he deserves it with how he's pitched so far. Cleveland has a rookie on the mound. I don't know what to make of that. So I'm ultimately going to stay off that game, but it would be a lean with the Cleveland Guardians in this one. Let's see here. Seattle Cubs, we went over. St. Louis and Colorado. Here, Flaherty against Urania. Obviously, huge pitching advantage with the Rockies. Rockies first 5 plus, or sorry, Rockies plus 1.5 was looking great yesterday until that 9th inning, which kind of sucked. But I'm going to stay off this game. Should be a St. Louis spot, but I'm going to stay off. Milwaukee and Arizona. Really, looking at it, I think that total of 9.5 is a bit too high. Jameson against Jansen Junk in this one. Don't know what we're going to get from Junk. Hopefully not Junk, but I know, horrible joke. But Jameson has been great for Arizona. This is just not a spot I want to get to. So I am passing. Miami against Philadelphia. Philadelphia, big home favorites here. Garrett Cooper, 333 average this year. He's 4 for 10, hitting 400 against Wheeler. And there's some other Marlins that I don't have written down that also hit Wheeler pretty well. They aren't hitting too well this year, which is not a big surprise for the Marlins, but they've hit Wheeler well. So I'm tempted with Miami here in some fashion. I can't believe I'm going to say it. Maybe even Miami team total over, which is kind of crazy to think, but depending on what that is at. I'll take a quick look. Team total Miami's 3.5 minus 101. Yeah, I'm gonna probably add that. I know Miami, not really a team you really want to run to the window to bet a team total over, but even against Wheeler, but I think they could get 4 runs in this one. Washington, LA Angels, we went over. Oakland and Baltimore. I'm not laying minus 180 with Baltimore, and I'm not backing the Oakland Athletics. So that game was an easy pass. Boston, Tampa Bay, we went over Detroit, Toronto, Cincinnati, Atlanta, went all over those. Final two games tonight, Kansas City and Texas. While this isn't a play for me, um, Kansas City batters hit Eovaldi really well. But really, who doesn't hit Eovaldi very well? He's an awful pitcher in my opinion. And I'm not laying minus 161 with him. Not going to take Kansas City, but the players that hit him well, Franmil Reyes, 5 for 10, 500 average against him. Hunter Dozier, 4 for 9 with a 444 average. Nicky Lopez, 4 for 8 with a 500 average. And Matt Duffy, that's the guy I want to see in the lineup. I will have Matt Duffy props. He's 4 for 5 against Eovaldi, and he's hitting a 412 average this year. If Kansas City is smart, if their manager is smart at all, um, you will have Matt Duffy in the lineup here. But we'll see what happens. I've noticed the last few days we have had players that smash the opponent's pitcher not in the lineup. I know maybe some managers don't really look at that type of thing, but you should really, in my opinion. So I'm hoping Matt Duffy is in the lineup here for this one. Dodgers in San Francisco. I have 5 Dodgers players here written down that hit um, San Francisco's pitcher well, Cobb. But a bunch of the Dodgers players hit Wood really well, and they didn't yesterday. So just because they've hit guys in the past doesn't mean they won't have a bad game. And pretty much the entire Dodgers lineup decided to have a bad game yesterday. That was my exclusive play up in the site yesterday was Dodgers minus 1.5, which did not cash. But the players that hit him well, JD Martinez hitting 480, Max Muncy hitting 400, Peralta 375, Outman 333, and Mookie Betts 297 against Cobb. But most likely, I'm going to be staying off of this one. We will look here at the best bet, Cubs money line plus 100. I back Stroman every game this season, and the Mariners are playing terrible. Yes. Yes. Crystal Chicago Cubs. All right. Best bet is going to be St. Louis, St. Louis / Colorado. First 5 over 6.5. Minus 1.5. Oops, what did I just do there? Plus Toronto minus 1.5. Perfect. First 5. I got it. All right, so we will take a look at the best bet segment, even though for some reason I don't have all those up today for some reason. I don't know what happened to them. They were here previously. Let me get this technical difficulties. Yesterday on the best bet segment, for me, Toronto money line and Chapman to get a hit. I'm sorry if I'm not very original, but it's about winning, and that bet has to be on your card. Varsho and Kiermaier over half a hit. Unfortunately, Varsho didn't get a hit yesterday for Crystal. Kevin Kiermaier deserves a statue outside Ryder Center. That guy's he's a god. I absolutely love him. Chapman, who is my favorite Blue Jay, he's got some competition with Kiermaier. Nick went with Philadelphia Flyers -1. It pushed. And the Blue Jackets had a lead. I think a 3-0 lead in that game at one point. Captain Bry went with Texas run line, Toronto run line. Texas was tied in the bottom of the 10th, but they scored 3 runs. So good job there. And Toronto run line didn't look good at the beginning, but it cashed. Richie went with Corey Seager and Marcus Semien over 1.5 runs, hits, or RBIs, plus 347. Winner. Terry went with Buffalo, New Jersey, both teams to score in the first period. Unfortunately, Buffalo did not score in the first period. They scored in the second. Clear Nyam went with Twins -1, which was a push, and Kev Cook went with the Rockies +1.5. which was looking really good for most of the game, but unfortunately in baseball, things can look good and then 2 seconds later be gone. So that's unfortunate. Looking at the standings here, Richie in first place, up 10.95 units so far in the month. Crystal in third, up 6.8. Clear and I am in third, up 5.22. And then the rest of us are looking up at those three, currently leading the standings for this month. Going into today's best bets here, let me bring this up. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I know I sound like a broken record and I'm not very original, but Toronto money line and Chapman to get a hit. I'm sticking with it here. Nick is going with the New York Mets money line. Richie, Rizzo, and Stanton over. Is that half or 1.5, Richie? It's 1.5 or over half a hit. Okay, yeah, plus 1 or 2, so over half a hit. Tim is going with the Reds plus 1.5. Crystal is going with the Cubs money line, and Captain Bry is going with St. Louis, Colorado first drive over 6.5, and Toronto on the run line. A win is a win. Yes. I know some people might be like, you're just choosing the same thing every day. Well, Chapman hits the ball every single day, so I'm not going to jump off it until he stops hitting the ball, which will eventually happen. All players will get cold, but I don't know when it's going to happen, so I'm not going to try to predict that. Kev is going to go with Texas minus 1.5 plus Tampa Bay minus 1.5. I will get plus 165. I will get you the odds for that, for both of those together. Sure. Right. Bounce out of first. Looks like it has some work to do. LOL. Well, hey, not even halfway through the month, so lots of time left. A win is a win, Terry. Yes, as I say, yeah, it is. Yes, over half a hit. Perfect. Perfect. That is today's show. Best of luck to everybody. If you're new to the channel, I didn't even switch to the best bet screen. I always forget. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the content, hit the like button. Appreciate all the support. And we will be back tomorrow. Just baseball tomorrow, even though there's a bunch of hockey. If I do find anything, any kind of player props or anything, I'll give it out on tomorrow's show, but most likely just baseball tomorrow. Best of luck to everybody, and we'll see you again for other episodes getting wild and flying high. Free NHL and MLB picks. Best of luck, guys.